What a beautiful morning we've had here. Sunshine, warmth. I'm looking forward to more days like this. I just want to share a few thoughts with you this morning about embracing the fear. There's a verse in Exodus chapter 33, verse 20. It kind of is the springboard for my thoughts that I would just want to share with you today for a few moments. Exodus 33:20, it says, "But he added, 'You cannot see my face, for humans cannot see me and live.'" In some cases, we are made for fear. We're made to live with fear, not without it. As much as we would like to live without it, we're not made to live without some fear. It is, just as it so often happens, that we get preoccupied with a lot of things that we can see, that we can hear, that we can touch. But these are not the things that we're supposed to fear. We should not fear people. We should not fear circumstances. It was about things just like that our King Jesus said in Luke 12, verses 4 and 5, and even later in the text in verses 22 to 24. Jesus said, "Do not fear." So if we were made to fear certain things, but Jesus says, "Do not fear," what is it that we're meant to fear? Well, what it is that we are meant to fear is a formidable God. He's an amazing God that is so much bigger than us. Proverbs 1:7 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge." So we're made for fear of God, but not fear of created things. We often get those turned upside down, don't we? So what exactly does Scripture mean to fear God? Mostly, it means to keep our thinking straight. It means seeing God in all his power, in proper relationship, and in proper proportion to the people and the problems in this world and in our lives. God is not smaller than financial hardship. He is not smaller than difficult work situations and difficult working people. God is not smaller than the challenges that we face with our kids. God is not smaller than anything, even though we sometimes act as if he is much smaller than the things that are facing us. See, these created things are nowhere near equal to our God. He is so much bigger, so much more powerful. See, comparing these created things, these problems we face, comparing them to God, it really doesn't make any sense. God calls himself in Scripture the Alpha and the Omega. That is simply Greek alphabet, the first letter and the last letter. He's simply saying he is the beginning and he is the end of everything. Of every problem, he is there before the problem comes. He will be there after the problem leaves. And he is there during the problem. Nothing forces God's hand. Nothing is too big for God to handle. The problem is sometimes we let these things be bigger than our faith. And so when our faith is conquered by the fear of things around us, then our God becomes very small. See, what's amazing is that this formidable, fearsome, amazingly powerful God, for some reason, beyond our really full comprehension, this God chooses to love each and every one of us. And it's not the love that we have defined by Hollywood. The love that God has for us, it's a fierce love. It's a love that is always only for our spiritual good. And the amazing thing about God's love, this formidable God, His love will never give up. It will never release. It will never relent. Nothing can stop it. So to him, we must not respond as we've been conditioned to respond to fear, thinking he's about controlling us, minimizing us. And so we try to avoid him, or we try to become numb to him. That's how we deal with the fear of created things. That's not how we should ever deal with our Creator. See, how we need to respond to this God is by recognizing every day, every moment, he is the most important, most powerful force in our lives. And we really need to remember this. We are his favored children. That's precious. Just a few practical steps as you're thinking through embracing the fear of God and no longer fearing created things. A few practical steps you can take to embrace your fear of your Creator, and at the same time to really minimize your fear of created things. First, write down, put it in your mind, name your biggest fears. Okay, write them down, and then look at those fears that you've listed. And now what I want you to do is you're looking at these fears that you've written down here. Imagine those fears from God's perspective. See, we're seeing them from our perspective. Now I want you to look at them from God's point of view. How frightening are those things now from God's perspective? See, they're nothing. It's dust in the wind. The truth is, things we can see, things we can hear, things we can touch, really are never our ultimate threats, are they? Especially when we know that God is around, when we're aware of his presence in our lives. And here's the fact, whether we recognize it or not, God is always around. So our ultimate threat is choosing to live as if all these created things and all the problems on earth are bigger than God is. Let's remember what fear to embrace, what fear to reject. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Enjoy this Saturday, and we look forward to worshiping together online, live streaming from our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Tomorrow will be the last Sunday that we will have to worship digitally and separate. We will be meeting together again starting Sunday, May the 10th. Have a good day. Thanks.